Hello, hello. This is Anna from Shift Your Gaze, and today I am going to be joined by Steph, who is really changing the world. She is doing a whole lot of homestead, which is actually a new concept to me in terms of the term, but something that I have actually had a lot of in my life. And so I'm really excited to talk to her and see how she does this and what she's been doing. So just give me a moment to have her pop on. She should be on any moment. And I believe she has a bit of laryngitis, which should make this quite fun anyway. But love it, love it, love it. Oh, I hear her. Oh, I don't see you yet, but I hear you.
This is not going to work. I can switch.
Some technical issues here. Oh,
Okay.
there you are. Oh, it's a little frozen.
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on, we're gonna try something.
Oh, sometimes modern technology. Anyway. So while she's trying to figure this out, she is teaching women, or people, not women, she's teaching everyone how to become more self-sufficient, how to grow your own food, how to make your own soaps and cleaning products. And she knows a whole lot about the products that we have on the stores and stuff. Okay, let me see if I need to let her come back in again. Let's see. What does it say? I have to put my glasses on to see what it says. She says that she joined. Okay. Either way, so she's doing all this lovely stuff. We may have to postpone this. And if we do, we do. And if we don't, we don't. So that's absolutely fine. Either way. Let me just see this. Okay. Here she comes. Maybe she'll come in this way. You know, sometimes it's just like this. There she is.
Okay. Take two. I hope this one works.
Yeah, and you know, I just told our viewers that if it doesn't, it's okay. We can do this again. So I don't want to, no stress. I'm easygoing, low key. So
yeah, I'm here. I know my voice is all like scratchy too, but it's all going to work out.
It's all going to work. It's all exactly the way it's supposed to be. Maybe we're supposed to do two of these. Who knows, right? With one and then two.
Yes, we totally could.
So I was just telling you, Steph, a little bit about your what you're doing, homesteading, and what exactly that is, because that was a new term for me. I have not heard that term. But yet when I see all the things you're doing, it's something that's actually been in my life for a long time. So it was interesting to see kind of how things are unfolding. So I always love to start with just telling a little bit about yourself and your journey and what brought you to this.
Okay. Well, yeah, homesteading is actually a term that I didn't really know or like understand until probably like 3 years ago or so. Because it was just something that I got into, and I never really like called myself a homesteader until I started learning more about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally a homesteader. But it's basically somebody that, you know, when you think of Little House on the Prairie and you think of our ancestors, our great-grandparents, how they lived. So they lived very much off the land, and like my lighting is awful here. Anyways, they lived very much off the land. So a homestead is back in the day when you used to be given a plot of land to basically make your life off of. So you were a homesteader. So I got into this way of life years ago. I've got a baby joining me now.
Okay, we love babies. Hi, baby.
Okay, so it was, excuse me, really through health issues. So I my family had a lot of health issues. I had some health issues, and I was just trying to figure it out. I was trying to understand what was going on because no doctor was able to help me. They just put me on more medications and basically said, this is going to fix it. You'll be fine. I never was. It just made everything worse. I even had emergency surgery and lost some organs from some medication I was put on. Yeah, turns out it was a cancer drug. I was put on a chemotherapy drug that you didn't get told about, but it was off-label marketed to teenagers, and they didn't tell you that it was a chemo drug. They wanted to recoup their costs, and so they found another use, and a lot of people died. And it's still on the market today.
Wow.
Been like 15 years, and I think there's like 4,000 lawsuits, class action lawsuits, and it's still available. So lots of fun there. But just learning more about, I started delving into what's in our food. Like, what is it I'm eating, or what is it my family's eating that is contributing to these health issues? What is it that I'm using in my products that could be contributing to this? And so it was unraveling all of that that really helped me see what was happening. So my personal issue was chronic acne. So you can kind of see I've got some flares right here. That is actually because I'm part of the, I'm doing the Three Rivers Homestead Pantry Challenge right now. So I ate a chocolate bar that had some milk in it. And I did not realize that.
It didn't like you.
I
didn't like you. You liked it, but it didn't like you.
Exactly. I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, oh, it's 88% chocolate. Like, I'm going to get rid of this and I'll eat it. I took the smallest bit and this is what happens. So it was really discovering, okay, how food interacts with my body, what is in the food that's interacting with my body, what is in the products that's interacting with my body, and taking all of that stuff out. It was kind of like, what do I do now? So I learned a lot of how do I make my own products.
Yeah.
And that just, like, it led me on such a big journey of being able to provide more for myself. I definitely feel like I'm part of the generation where we grew up in the 90s. It was sort of the last generation that played outside. It was the generation where cell phones, you know, came in when we were teenagers, and cable TV became a thing. So we were sort of the generation that grew up outdoors, but then in front of a screen. So we've, with our parents trying to give us everything, we've lost the skills of how to do for ourselves. And learning more about what's in our products, what's in our food, how that contributes to our health, how to treat your body too, like when you get sick, you know. I've learned how to just make simple teas, detox baths, using remedies I forage on our property. I'm better within a couple of days. So I teach that stuff now because it has been lost in just 2 generations. Our grandparents, sometimes even our parents a little bit, but our grandparents, our great-grandparents, they did this stuff. That's how they survived, and now we live a life of complete convenience to the point where you just pull out your phone and you've got like groceries delivered to your front door or a meal that's already made, and you don't have to think about it. But we're also living in a time right now where our grocery stores are becoming bare, where we have such a reliance on external factors that we don't necessarily know how we would survive, you know, even a couple of days. Many people don't even know how to cook anymore without processed foods. So getting those skills into people's hands really empowers you, and it really gives you a sense of confidence, and it fills that hole that I feel like a lot of women especially are feeling, where we feel just so lost and out of place, and that we're trying to grasp something because we're told, you know, go, 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 go. But really our roles are much more different. We are supposed to be out in nature. We are supposed to be nurturing our family and caring for our family, whether that means, you know, you work outside the home or you're inside the home, it doesn't matter. We feel that sense of loss of purpose in a way, and these skills are a big part of that. So I teach it. I teach what I've learned, and it is I just want to empower people and create this massive community of, Ma Ingalls, of just like this group of women that are learning these skills to be able to take care of their families and feel empowered with that knowledge.
Well, first of all, I want to have to applaud you because you are well on your way to create a gorgeous community. And two, I love that you really didn't, I love the fact that you empowered yourself by not just listening to what the doctor said and knew there had to be another way for you to heal your body and heal what was going on. And I know that when we spoke prior to this, you talked even about like cleaning supplies and all of that stuff that contributes to like our homeostasis and our equilibrium, like all the, our own hormones and all of that stuff. And how that played into your journey a little bit as well, right? That played in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time. All those chemicals you don't even realize are in there, and they're being, sold as green products and stuff, but they're actually endocrine disruptors, and especially fragrance. They're endocrine disruptors, and that is huge for not only women's health, that is not discussed ever, but also for fertility for men and women, and for children especially. It is completely disastrous to your health. So just changing your cleaning products, changing your laundry room is one of the biggest things that you can do. And it's so simple to do.
Wow. So, I didn't even think, I think laundry detergent, I happen to, on a personal note, be very sensitive to smells. So I'm very conscious not to purchase things with smells or odors. And I have a very quick adverse effect, reaction. But with that said, I would love, if you're willing, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your program. But before you do that, if you're willing to share like maybe one or two, like 2 or 3 tips on some things that people can do to get started, maybe in each area, maybe like in the cleaning area, maybe in the food prep area, and then maybe in the like natural remedy area. How's that?
Sure, I can totally do that. So number one thing for cleaning stuff, vinegar. Use what grandma did, vinegar. So vinegar works as a fabric softener. So you can get rid of your dryer sheets. Just throw some vinegar into your wash cycle, or you can just cut up like a rag and soak it in some vinegar and toss it into your dryer, and it will soften your clothes right then and there. It does not leave a smell.
No.
So you can get rid of your toxic dryer sheets right away and your toxic fabric softeners.
That is awesome. I'm laughing because I've used vinegar. So I'll give you a little history about me later, but right now I use vinegar sometimes in my wash for athletic odors. Like if my kids are playing sports and stuff, and it tends to take away some of the odors from that as well, with baking soda too. I'll put baking soda.
Yes.
So not together. We're not together, not at the same time. That is a great tip. I never thought of the vinegar on like a rag and throwing it in the dryer, not in a million years. And so now I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that today because I can do that so easily. I've got a big gallon of white vinegar. So that's awesome. All right.
It helps with static too. And you can get or make your own wool dryer balls. I recommend making them because you can just go and support a local farm, get their wool, and just make a ball out of it. Stick a safety pin in it and toss that in your dryer, and it will get rid of static.
Wow. I didn't know that at all. All right. Exactly.
Like just these simple things that are so easy.
Yeah, there's so much coming up to me. I'll do my little brief because I want you to share the rest of it. And I know people really want to hear your stuff, but my mom grew up in Italy in a very small town in Sicily. And so we would go as summers and they had the sheep. Like we really went back to the farm. And my mom when she came to the United States, she came with a host of things. So I did not grow up on like Hostess cupcakes or macaroni and cheese. Like everything was made from scratch, and she canned and she jarred, and she always had a big garden and all these cleaning remedies. And she's become Americanized. But we used to laugh because we thought it was a treat. Like if they went out and we got a babysitter, we would get junk food. We were allowed to have junk. That was when we were allowed to have junk food or something. So just funny. So when you're saying all this, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yes, this is what they, this is what they did, Anyway,
exactly.
keep going. I don't want to skip
Okay,
my track.
so you mentioned baking soda.
Yep.
Baking soda is a great cleaning product. Combine it with vinegar and you can clean your entire house. I have no idea what's going on with the baby right now. I'm
That's
sorry. So you can make a paste with just some Castile soap and some baking soda, and you can use that to scrub down your shower, scrub down your toilet. Just put baking soda and vinegar in your toilet, and you can clean it right then and there. You can use it, make a paste out of the baking soda and use it as a soap scum scrub type of thing. Castile soap is amazing. I've literally replaced so many things with Castile soap. I make my own liquid soap out of Castile soap, just a little bit of Castile soap, fill a foaming pump bottle with the rest with water, and you've got your own liquid soap right there.
Wow.
Like,
Boom.
it's so simple. It's so simple. You can put orange peels or lemon peels or lime peels or grapefruit peels, whatever you want, rosemary leaves, like anything, into a bottle of vinegar, let it sit. You can take from your Christmas tree, I know Christmas is gone now, but from your Christmas tree next year, save the little, just cut up a couple of snips of it, stick it in a jar of vinegar, and that can become your cleaner. And it has great antibacterial properties, and that is what you're cleaning your home with. Like, vinegar itself is amazing to clean. We should not have all of these toxic cleaning products like bleach and whatnot. That's for hospitals. Like, that's for MRSA. You don't need that in your home. You need to just use just the softer stuff, because otherwise you're killing a lot of the good stuff and you're making yourself even sicker with all of the toxic chemicals. So there's lots of easy ways to get rid of your chemical stuff, and it costs you virtually nothing.
I'm thinking pennies. I mean, right?
Pennies.
I think for a gallon of white vinegar is probably the same price as maybe even a little less than like a bottle of cleaning. Like, I'm thinking a spray cleaner. I don't want to give any names here, but like a spray cleaner. Yeah. And that's only one bottle. You probably can make 10 or 15 bottles out of the gallon of vinegar, So
exactly. And the super funny thing is that those cleaners, like, really, when you look at the gamut of cleaners, there's cleaners for everything. They're virtually the same formula, if not the same formula. So you're being told that you need 20 different cleaners when you need one. Well, and same thing with skincare products. Like, you need one.
Yeah, interesting. I love that you just brought that up, because I actually, with COVID, we had some training, and one of the things that they were saying was that any of those spray antibacterials need to sit wet on a surface for almost 10 minutes to be even effective. And I thought, then why am I using it? First of all, if I spray it and wipe it, it's not doing anything anyway. All I've done is just move it around with germs.
Yeah, and like 10 minutes has passed. Oh gosh. 10 minutes has passed and it's like stuck to your counter, so then you have to wet it again. Like, it just, when you start looking into this stuff, it makes absolutely no sense. So use your vinegar.
Yeah, I love it. And you're saying skin products. Now, what would you suggest? I think I have an idea, but what would you suggest for skin products? Because I'm kind of one of those.
So skin, like for your face, it definitely is more subjective to the individual person, because everybody's skin is different. Coconut oil, I love using. I definitely love using.
Oh, okay. I love this because it's completely authentic. Obviously, we're not staging anything. Obviously, so this is it. This is us. So that's it. It's awesome.
The older one is supposed to be looking after the younger one. Why don't you go find your penguin? Can you go bring me your penguin? Yeah, go get your penguin. Okay. So the apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is great as a toner. It's also great as a cleanser. So you can easily use that. Castile soap, again, like Castile soap you can use as a bubble bath. You can use it as a body wash. You can use it as a shampoo. You can use it for so many things. Apple cider vinegar, you can use as a toner. You can use it as a conditioner. Your baking soda you can use as a shampoo. Like, there's just so many things. But for your face, it really depends on your skin
Okay.
type. But I definitely recommend like just go and explore stuff.
Yeah.
Go and explore, see what works for you. Generally, just water in a cloth is fantastic. I love doing a honey mask. So I take local honey, or you can take manuka honey. You can mix some cinnamon into it and just make a paste and do it all over your face. It smells amazing. It will melt and drip off into your mouth. You can eat it if you'd like. And then you just take a hot washcloth and just put it over your face and let it sit there for a bit, and then just start to wipe. It will exfoliate your skin. It will also, because honey is antibacterial and all that good stuff, it will moisturize your skin. Like your skin will look amazing after you do this.
Yeah.
It moisturizes it, it cleanses it, it does all the things to it. And you can do that like once a week, or like however often you're able to. I'm able to do it like every 6 months, I feel like.
Well, I love that. I've heard the honey. I've actually never done that. And yeah, I'm a person of really minimal product as well. And when it comes to skin care, and I'm even down to, I'm much older than you, so my skin is a little more drier, but I use just oils, different oils. Like I've done sesame oil. I've done, right now I'm oil. Sometimes I'll do just vitamin E oil, or, any of those, olive oil, any of them. And I'll just put them on. And, I mean, people are like, aren't you greasy? I said, no, really, if you just put a little bit on, your face is damp or something, you put a little bit on, let it sit in, you just, it's unbelievable what it, and it's the same thing, to buy a thing of oil or coconut, whatever it is, whatever oil you decide, is so much cheaper than buying like some of the skin products and the name brand products that they have out there and stuff. So I love that.
And like, you don't even have to leave it on. No. I know that you can just like put it on and then do the cleansing method where you have the hot washcloth again, put it over your face, let it sit, and then just wipe. It will moisturize. It will like amazing. Oh yeah.
Who's this? Oh, thank you for joining us. And I love the comment. I love using, what is it?
Tallow. Tallow.
What's tallow?
So lard is pig fat, rendered pig fat. Tallow is rendered, excuse me, sheep or cow fat. So basically you've got your grazing animals, you've got a whole bunch of vitamin D in that stuff. Tallow is amazing for skincare, like absolutely amazing. So you can just go to your local butcher or find a local farm, ask them for their fat and make it yourself, or ask them if they have it, or find a local farm that already makes it. It's really up to you, but like this is something that's incredible that you can go and support local and learn how to do yourself. Like so easy. And like you get all the benefits from it. Jojoba oil is another good one.
Yep, I'm seeing that. Yeah, that looks good. And I've never even heard of tallow, so I'm now going to have to explore that because I love to explore new things. I think that's
like there's so many things that you can do, and recognizing that, and when you start to get into it and you start to go like, how could it be this simple? Like, how could it be this easy? How could this be so inexpensive? You begin to realize too of how, I'm going to say, exploited we are by companies that just want to make more money. So when we start to flip the script and start to empower ourselves by just figuring out, okay, what can I do? What can I do differently? What can I do that's only 1 ingredient or 2 ingredients, like less than 5 ingredients, including your food, like your meals and stuff, less than 5 ingredients. I mean, spices go wild, but it's so empowering and so enriching, and you really just take that power back, and you feel so much better. You're healthier, so much healthier, and you don't have to rely on somebody else. Instead, you build that community because you're going to your local farmers, you are supporting your local businesses, you're supporting the local mom that's making her own soaps from products that she gets locally. Like, you are supporting your community, which is what everybody says they want to do. This is how you do it.
And I love that these are just natural resources that are already in our environment. We're not creating them to create something else. They're just actually, as I always say, back in the day they used all the, like, you know, if you're a person who eats meat, you use all of the animal, every little bit of it. Every little bit of it had some kind of function or some kind of thing to it. And, you know, we as a society have really moved away from that. I mean, and it's funny because, like, even our fish does not look like a fish when you go to the grocery store, and our meat does not look like meat when we go to the grocery. Like, it's all packaged in plastic, and it's like,
yeah, we're so desensitized,
yeah,
like so desensitized, and that makes it that much easier for us to turn a blind eye
yeah,
for how our products get to us.
yes, yeah,
So being, you know, we don't want animal cruelty, but we're okay with, you know, picking up like a slab of beef in the store that's totally packaged. But how did that beef get to you?
yeah, exactly.
Like, let's be realistic. That beef that's in the grocery store, not necessarily being treated right.
Yeah.
But you don't know, you know, when you go to your local farmer, you can see the cows.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yes. When you, and you also know fairly much what they've been eating and the environment that they've been in and all of those things. That's amazing. So you've given us like amazing tips. Like, I'm like trying to take notes here because I'm like, oh my goodness, I can go back and we can go back and listen to this. But for some reason I felt the need to take notes. So now when it comes to like food, and some maybe shortcut tips that you would suggest, like one or maybe one, and then
okay.
we'll move on to your program.
So what is a good tip? Now they're all here. Okay. I'm going to be so distracted right now. Good tip for food. Just take something that you eat often and learn how to make it yourself. That doesn't mean you have to make it yourself for the rest of your life. Just try it. Try it once. You know, if you eat a lot of granola bars, learn how to make some granola bars. If you find like, you know, yeah, I can make granola bars once a week and stick them in the freezer or whatever, then I'll do that. Or make them once a month or whatever. Or if you like eat a lot of bread, okay, learn how to make bread. Like, start with one thing that you eat a lot of and try and do it yourself. Learn how to make it. If you've got something that you love and it's a comfort food, learn how to make it yourself. It doesn't matter if you're using like bad ingredients or, you know, whatever. You've got to start somewhere. And so learning just how to make the recipe is step one. Then you can learn on how to change out the ingredients, how to shift the recipe so that you are then making it what is in my local environment, what is local to me that I can then switch to. Yeah. That's the way I love to, that's like your end goal, you know, in terms of self-sufficiency is I have this recipe that's got a whole bunch of ingredients, you know, some are processed or whatever. I'm going to learn how to make the recipe. Then I'm going to start to shift the ingredients. I'm going to shift away from sugar. I'm going to start using honey. You know, okay, how can I purchase that honey locally after I've been purchasing it from the grocery store? Like, you make those little shifts over time, but always thinking of that sort of end goal of how can I support my local community? How can I do this myself? And what you'll find as you begin to make those shifts is your ingredients get smaller and smaller and smaller. And you, like, your life just changes. Like, your pantry changes, like everything. It's such a cool experience. And you learn how to cook. Like, you learn how to cook, and that just opens so many doors for you, and your flavors change. And like, it's just, I am somebody that hated cooking. Like, anything that took me longer than 5 minutes, including a sandwich, I was like, nah, not gonna happen. Like, now I make every meal from scratch, and I have for over 5 years.
Wow.
And like, so that is my tip when it comes to meals and stuff. Like, just start and then shift over time. This is not a race.
Say, and something like as simple, like, and I'm using this as an example, and I don't mean, I'm not belittling anybody in this whole thing, but I'm like thinking, like, even in terms of like eggs, huge, right? Like, I don't know if everybody can eat eggs, but like, I'm amazed. Like, my kids, I all know how to make eggs and use, like, you know, whether it's a scrambled or fried, whatever, all the different various eggs that you can make. And then we, you know, sometimes we get them from the local chickens. Most of the time we try to get them from the local chickens when at least it's warm enough out. And I have two who've gone off to college, and they're both like, Mom, people don't know how to even make eggs. Like, they always go to the deli or the local bakery and get egg sandwiches, and they don't even know how to make. I'm like, really? Like, I can't. But I think I think it's not, and I'm not belittling, because I know I'm in a rush and I'm running out the door, and I do that less and less now. Because they can cook, they cook it now themselves. They don't need me to cook. But it's really like simple things like that. Like the difference between going to a deli and spending $6 on an egg sandwich and making an egg sandwich that will cost you $1, not even, right? You know, and you know what oil or butter or whatever you put on, you know.
It's you make a good point. Teach your kids. Have your kids in the kitchen. Start them when they're really young. If they're old now, start them. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Just start them and give them that ability to make mistakes and make messes, because that's how they learn. And guess what? In a couple of weeks, if not a week, they're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of where they are, or like where they started out. Yeah. And you will not have to cook anymore.
Well, yeah, so let me give you that secret. I'm going to add, because my kids are a lot older than your kids, and that's exactly what happens. So, like, my 16-year-old says, Mom, what do you want for dinner tonight? And I tell her, oh, I think I want whatever it is. And she says, well, do we have all the ingredients? And I think we do. And then she gets it started. And so there I go.
No, I love this. It was, my kid was probably 3 or 4, and I said, okay, here's what's for supper. And they're like, no, I don't want that. Well, then fine, make yourself, you know, whatever, like, go ahead, go make yourself supper. They did. And I was just like, okay, well, I am totally okay with this, I guess. Like, it kind of backfired, but in a good way.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Like, so, I mean, you're empowering your kids too, which is huge.
Yeah, well, and it's also like when you start to think about the generational piece that you were talking about earlier on in our conversation, like, you know, this is the stuff that our like for me, it was my mom and my grandparents, and obviously their parents did. For your generation, it's that like more like grandparents and great grandparents kind of thing, right? But for when you start thinking about that, it's a lost art. So there is a generation of that doesn't have this as an art, and it's the same thing with cooking. Things have gotten so convenient. We have DoorDash and all these delivery things, like you call meals to you, and you know that we lose sight of how to even do basic, what we considered basic skills at some point, right? Now they're almost skills. So
exactly. It's so very important. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I may cook all of our meals from scratch, but I still to this day boil over water. I burn water. Like, I will set a pot to boil and it will boil over and it will burn. I still do that. So like, I may grow a garden and preserve our food, but I still kill plants. Like, it's not like you're ever going to be perfect. That you're still going to screw up. But the point is that you are empowering yourself. You are changing. When we think of, you know, we want to be environmentally friendly. We want, you know, less plastic. We want, you know, more community and all that kind of stuff. It takes action, and that action starts in our homes. And it's not just, you know, what the media tells us, like, oh, we're going to get rid of plastic straws, and like, how much plastic is there? I mean, how much impact did that do? So it really starts with ourselves, and it's not like, yes, you can say no to something in a store or whatnot, but it really starts with us empowering ourselves with those skills.
Yes.
That is how we change, and we are raising the change we wish to see in the world. And we do that by leading by example. That is how they learn. So us learning these skills and involving them, that is how the change happens.
100% in agreement. 100%. So since you're talking about change, I would love for you to share the course that you're offering. I know it's a hot commodity, and you're really excited about it. And I would love for you to share a little bit about what you're offering and where people can find you and the whole kit and caboodle.
Okay, so right now I've got 2 programs that I'm offering. So my first program is called Roadmap to Self-Sufficiency, or the Self-Sufficiency Roadmap. So it is basically your foundational skills of what you need to do, or like the skills that you need to have for self-sufficiency. So that is growing your own food, preserving your own food, learning how to use natural remedies, cooking, And then there's like making your own products. There's a lot of stuff tied in there, which will completely change how your life operates, and it gets you to that point that you want so much faster. It is like cutting out the fluff that you don't need to
Yeah,
know.
because you've done all the research. You did it all.
Oh God, this has been like
you did
decades,
the
I feel like.
years of trial and error. So now
Oh yeah, exactly. And like, I am a mom. I made this from a mom to moms. Like, everything that's in there takes less than 15 minutes to watch or do. And it is, and you can teach your kids. Like, it is all about keeping it simple, keeping it doable, and being able to just get it and take action. So that is the first program. And then what I have just launched actually like 2 days ago was a mini course, which is all about gardening. So from seed to harvest is what it's called. And it is taking a snippet, like a very small snippet out of the self-sufficiency roadmap, because right now is when people need to be planting their gardens and starting to grow. So it is learning how to grow in abundance using your permaculture. So basically going organic, working with the ecosystem and growing your own food. The revolution starts with growing your own food, and the kitchen is the gateway.
I love it. I love it. How exciting is that? So I'm loving that you're saying all this. I'm going to share a funny story. So I told you my mom's a big gardener. She always has been, but she has we've always had what she called a mulch pile, which is really what do they call it? I'm going to forget the name of it. Composting pile that she's had my entire life, like, I mean, a long, long time. And the last 2 falls, all of a sudden she had like 25 butternut squash in her compost pile. Like, they just grow randomly. So honestly, like, the foundation to good soil and is so essential, and anything will grow once you've got that rich nutrient soil. So for you to be teaching people the basics is so incredibly important, because
this course too, because because I'm all about cutting out the fluff and making it super simple. As long as you don't have to get lost in the whole like pHs and compost wet and dry and all this stuff. No. You can get rid of all that stuff because you don't need to know that. By just doing the simple skills, all of that stuff happens. You don't need to understand it. Okay? You don't need to understand it. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with it. Just do the steps and it will happen.
Yes.
Organically.
100%. I am so excited. I hope, first of all, we had some great comments. I want to thank everybody who joined us live, and for anybody who joins us in the future when they listen to the replay. If you have any questions, definitely ask away, even in my comments, and I will make sure Steph gets those, or obviously in Steph's. But you can follow Steph. Let's just get it. I want to make sure I get it right. It's Spruce. What is it? What is it called?
Spruce.acres.homestead.
Okay, spruce.acre.homestead on
Acres
on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so you can find Steph right here. And in addition to that, she's got these 2 great programs going. And I would suggest, if anyone is interested, to really, dive into at least maybe the beginning one, at least the first one, either one.
It's on pre-sale right now. This From Seed to Harvest is on pre-sale right now. So this is the lowest you are going to get it. So you have to send me a message right away if you are interested in, so we can get that price.
Yeah, so you know what? Drop your messages even here in this, and either way, whether Steph will be able to see this as well because she's in it. So just drop them here if you have any coming forward. That would be great, or just message Steph directly on her site. That would be awesome. And I really want to thank you for, first of all, showing up authentically, showing up not, I want to say imperfectly perfect.
Yes.
Two, for sharing such great little wealth of nuggets of knowledge that are really almost like common sense household items. Most of us have I know I have them in my house that we can use for various ways, like to clean our houses, to do laundry, to our body products, like all of that stuff. And I just love that you were able to share all of that with us. And I hope that if anybody has any questions, Steph is going big. She's going to be going big, and you guys can get in on the ground floor with her and really help change. Not only, I mean, we want to change the environment and we want to change the thing, but I think it's also just changing our mindset behind what health and wellness looks like, feels like, and tastes like, and you know, right, and really start to look at this as part of our personal wellness journey for our bodies as well as for the environment, and obviously for the future of our children. So it's quite an amazing thing. So I want to thank you so much for showing up here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun, even with all the craziness on this end.
It's awesome. And I want to tell everybody, it'll be, I dropped this in my feed, and I'll be sending a copy to Steph. So if anybody even wants to listen to it again, they can join me here at Shift Your Gaze, or Steph will have a copy as well. And she can, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.